welcome to the Exile Minds podcast with me, the famous Liam Martin, or will be one day. How's it going anyway? Hope you had a lovely day, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in today. Oh, looks like my camera's gone off. I'll have to switch off to that later. Okay, yes. So today, welcome to the show. Today, Exile Minds podcast on the Thursday, the 4th of May, 2023. And me, Liam Martin. Yeah, we've got a follow-on show today, a part 2 from a previous episode. I wanted to do a kind of two-parter on a particular topic there we covered in the last show, the ancient wonders of the world. We had a quick overview, and then there was another candidate for a possible eighth wonder in Nam Madal, known as the Venice of the Pacific in Micronesia. But crystals came up in this, and because of some of the basalt crystal on these islands that were made, so yeah, it sort of came back up for us with the old crystal thing. I've talked about crystals before. I wanted to do a crystal school show, but for whatever reason didn't get around to doing it. I was trying to find this particular book, the Crystal Schools book, had a bit of a story that went with it, but I still wanted to do a touch on crystals, because having looked into this, doing this Crystal Schools show I was preparing, I found out a bunch of stuff out about crystals, interesting things of the use of crystals through history. So I thought for the part 2 then, because it kind of took us away from the ancient wonders and into the use of crystals, and how they made some of these things. I always find that a bit fascinating, and so there are some mysteries there. And crystals have got a bit of a mystique. I find it interesting that with the thing with crystals, now the thread came with this, looking at the ancient wonders, and then the potential a candidate for the 8th one had basalt crystals. But then, like I say, led me to wanting to look at this idea of crystals, because I felt like doing it. We need to delve into this and go into the past use of crystals in history to perhaps give us some clues about what are the possible uses, and see some ways that they've impacted us. Because crystals are used in a lot of electronics, and if people realise quite how much, and so I thought, well, let's have an overview then, and look at the use of crystals, because for me it seems a bit of a strange thing that they seem both quite futuristic. The idea of, got me thinking about crystals seems both futuristic as a technology. We kind of see it in sci-fi movies and alien spaceships and stuff. Notably in Stargate, the gold pyramid ships, basically ships that can sit on top of pyramids. In the Stargate films and the franchise, the pyramids are built to be platforms for these giant UFOs, and their computers and power systems are run on crystals. And you see it in other sci-fi stuff. So it seems kind of futuristic, but also, they're old, aren't they? Some crystals are older than us, and they've been used, throughout history. And so it's like, it's both futuristic and past stuff. I find that quite fascinating, and I thought, well, also, as we're doing radio, perhaps we should start there, because radio actually uses crystals, as the aforementioned electronics technologies use a lot of crystals. And so, since though it's a radio show or podcast, but we're on Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, and we are doing radio. And since they're doing radio and we're talking crystals, let's have a look at how that works, because radios, almost every radio, we've got an article here from urgentcom.com. It's kind of a funny name, actually. I quite like that. Urgentcoms.com, .com. No, that's not the website. Yeah, links in the description. But yeah, anyway, yes, almost every radio has a crystal oscillator, according to this article in urgentcom.com. So the article begins: crystal clear, almost every radio has a crystal oscillator. Here's how they work. This is written on the 1st of October 2009 by the administrators of this website. It says here, radio receivers and transmitters are both both require precise frequent. Yeah, it said radio receivers and transmitters both require a precise frequency reference, and this reference almost always is provided by a crystal oscillator. A crystal oscillator is an electronic circuit that uses the mechanical resonance of a vibrating crystal to generate a sinusoidal electronic signal at a very precise frequency. So, okay, it's going to create a sine wave at a very precise frequency. Okay. The translation by certain materials of the mechanical impulse to the electrical oscillator is called a piezoelectric effect. The most common type of piezoelectric resonator is the quartz crystal. Electronic circuits designed around them are called crystal oscillators. So, the piezoelectric effect, as far as I'm aware, it's about the pressure. The pressure that you put if you squeeze a crystal, it gives off a kind of electrical signal, I do believe, and they can amplify and clean up signals. I think. Let's carry on reading. Piezoelectricity was discovered by Jacques and Pierre Curie in 1880. I think that's the same the kind of stuff anyway. Yeah, piezoelectricity first discovered by Jacques and Pierre Curie in 1880. The first crystal-controlled oscillators were constructed at Bell Laboratories in 1917 by Alexander Nicholson using a crystal of Rochelle salt. Walter Cady, a professor at Wesleyan University, built the first quartz crystal oscillator in 1921. By 1926, quartz crystals were used to control the frequency of AM radio broadcast transmitters and were widely used by amateur radio operators. To illustrate the application of crystal oscillators to land and mobile radio, we will consider the Harris 800 MHz Master 2 repeater. The Master 2 repeater was manufactured from mid-1980s through 1993. It's still used for public safety and private LMR systems, but 800 MHz rebranding in the United States caused many of the Master 2 to be replaced by a crystal oscillator, and the receiver was no longer supported. No reliable substitute was readily available. Modern receivers do not have this problem because a single frequency oscillator, usually at 10 MHz, is used in all receivers, and the tune frequency is generated by a frequency synthesizer using the fixed oscillator as a reference. Although the Master 2 is obsolete now, the problem with receiver oscillators reveals the temperature and aging variations that apply at some levels of crystal oscillators. Okay, so I think what they're saying is that they used to use systems where using the natural resonance of a crystal to determine a fixed point to tune your frequency on, whereas these days they're just going to make a tone like from a synthesizer. That can be a master point because you have to have a fixed reference. So yeah, so crystals in radio. So if you want to read into it a bit more, it's a bit technical. But yeah, if you want to read into that a bit more, so links in the description, urgent.com. So yeah, I thought we'll start with that. So yeah, just to prove the point there, crystals and modern technologies, even in radio, we listen to now. So in computers, in so many things. Obviously, a quartz watch. What's it called? A quartz watch. We've got quartz crystal in it. Of course, we get lead crystal displays. A monitor there. That's what I've got. So yeah, there's crystals in a lot of things, but that's what we've got today. I'm wondering about what we've got in the past, beyond crystals as sort of jewelry and just looking shiny and pretty. What have we got? So there are some sources of some good mystery articles, I like to go for. And one site in particular is called ancientorigins.net, ancient-origins.net. So I've got some articles from these guys, and I must say, and they're pretty damn cool actually. But I read into a couple of them. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting, so I like to present them. But I didn't read all of the articles. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna hang on so that I can get a bit of a sort of surprise reaction at the same time. Although my camera's not working for the video viewers, so sorry about that. You won't be able to see it. But anyway, sorry about that. Just a little cough. Okay, so this first article then for the video viewers here, I'll just leave the articles on screen. But for the radio listeners, we've got them www.ancient-origins.net. I've got quite a few articles about crystals from these guys, so it's pretty much going to be just ancient origins. But I quite like this website actually, so we'll give them some kudos on that one because they've got loads and loads of interesting articles. Definitely worth checking out. Ancient Origins and one called Ancient Code as well. I definitely recommend them too. And you can sign up and support them as well if you find value in these things. But say links in the description and they're free to read, so that's all good. So this first article is about a meteorite found in Siberia contains naturally impossible crystal. So what's that mean then? This is from 23rd of July 2019, written by Nathan Falday. I'll say Ancient Origins. So 2019, 2000. Oh, actually, so he's wrote this in 2019, but the discovery was in 2009. Scientists made a groundbreaking discovery that was ultimately traced to a remote corner of the world. In a box obtained from an Italian Museum of Natural History in Florence, Italy, they found a small grain of extraterrestrial material that was formed shortly after the birth of our solar system 4.5 billion years ago. Oh, so it's from the beginning of the solar system. All right then. The mineral came from the area of near Koryak Mountains in the eastern Siberia and was delivered to Earth by an object known as Katayraka meteorite. The latter was discovered only after rescuers returned to the area in search of more exotic materials in 2011. Oh, okay. So So they've gone checking that place out and didn't actually find it till 2 years later. It says a quasi crystal looking like a normal crystal on the outside. Okay, so it looked like a quasi. Okay, a quasi crystal looks like a normal crystal on the outside, but on the inside it is notably different. While the atoms in a pure crystal are arranged in a constantly repeating pattern, the atomic lattices inside the quasi crystal are both ordered and diverse, displaying a range of shapes never seen in a natural substance. So is this trying to suggest that... Okay. Let's keep on reading before I speculate. More than 100 synthetic versions of this material have been produced in laboratories between 1982 and the present day. Until these experiments, such a form of matter had never been seen before, and in the past had been believed to be theoretically possible. So in the past they thought it was theoretically impossible according to accepted ideas of the laws of nature. There you go. Previously, the only thing ever found were crystals with the rigidly repetitive patterns and so-called normal solids, which are comprised of atoms arranged in no particular order. Okay, so it's okay. That's saying quite a lot actually for me. Going backwards there, I love the old. In the past, had been believed to be theoretically impossible according to accepted laws of nature. So the scientists back there, scientists proving themselves wrong. Right, this is a good one. Scientists proving themselves wrong. So they found a crystal. It's a quasi-crystal. I think so. This quasi-crystal, that means from reading this, and I thought I kind of knew this anyway. Yeah, quasi-crystal then is a bit like saying it's a half crystal, it's a pretend crystal, or like it's, you know, when they say something pseudo. It's kind of like that, but not. So yeah, it's a quasi-crystal, but that means kind of like, that's kind of hinting at sort of manufactured. If it can't naturally occur like that, then something unnatural's happened. And they're saying, well, the laws of nature can't allow this to naturally. You didn't think it could happen naturally. So what they're saying now, that now they think it can happen naturally, or is it unnatural? Is this a manufactured crystal then? But who's manufacturing crystals 4.5 billion years ago or before? Because certainly not us, because the solar system wasn't there. So, you know, oh, it's a little YouTube clip. I don't know how to play it, though, because I don't know who this is. But it's just telling you the difference between a quasi and a regular crystal. You can check that out if you want. So links are in the description on this. You can follow the video on this Ancient Origins article entitled Meteorite found in Siberia contains naturally impossible crystal. So yeah, check that out if you want. There's more to read on this, but I think we'll just we've got the goods there, haven't we, basically. It's probably going to tell you about quasi crystals and speculating where it might have come from. Okay, so yeah, impossible to happen naturally crystal found in Siberia that's as old as the solar system. So that's pretty nifty. So next up then, we've got, what did I have on here? Oh yeah. Next one. I don't know if my mate might cover this at some point. I think he might have. But yeah, I'm going to cover it anyway because I don't remember, and I don't remember anything about this. So seeing when it come up, I thought, wow, reminds me of video games straight away, like Skyrim and stuff, Elder Scrolls. But this one, again, Ancient Origins, it's from March 27th, 2017. Amazing crystal weapons discovered within 5,000-year-old megalithic tomb in Spain. So, okay, Spain. All right, crystal weapons. I mean, straight away, like I say, I think of these video games where you do magic and spellcasting and you have special crystal weapons to kill the trolls or whatever. You can enchant them and stuff. But yeah, but even in the video games, crystal weapons tend to like wear down fast because glass, aren't they, sort of thing. But I don't know. Maybe can some be strong? Diamonds are strong. Are they crystals? But then could you have a diamond sword? Well, I don't know. That would Anyhow, let's just read the article, see what it says. Archaeologists in Spain have unearthed an extremely rare set of weapons, including a long dagger blade, 25 arrowheads, and cores used for creating the artifacts, all made of crystal. Oh, so they've got some. Okay, so they've got some like cores of the crystal then, ready to make some weapons, like ingots. Like you'd have ingots with the metal, or a metal billet. Interesting. So they're ready to make more there. The finding was made inside a megalithic tomb dating from the 3rd millennia BC in southwest Spain. So we're talking 5,000 years ago. Yeah, 5,000 years ago. 3rd millennia. Yeah, quite a long time ago. An excavation of megalithic tombs in Valencia del Concepcion in Spain led to the dramatic discovery of the rare relics, which experts described as exceptional and magnificently well preserved. Magnificently well preserved. Wow, that's quite a superlative. Man, they must have been so excited. Imagine if we'd have found them. Magnificently well preserved crystal weapon. Oh my god. I'd have sent one to Jen straight away. I'd do something with this, Jen. Anyway, Jennifer Hawkins, shout out. But yeah, crazy, man. Woo. In fact, that reminds me, I always forget to do this. You get these docs and you get the chat thing, and I've had it up, so I'll start getting that up just in case anyone ever comes in. Hell yeah! There is a chatter! Hey, chatter! Hey, chatter! And it's Matt in the chat. Even rhymes, look. He's a hero to my zero. Sup, buddy? I always forget to look at the chat. I didn't even have it loaded up. But yeah, Crystal Weapons, man. What's this about? Who? Elder Scrolls? But yeah, Matt, that's what I was just thinking, actually. If the likes of me, you, and Genesis, if we'd have found that stuff, oh my god. Oh my god. Immaculately. Magnificently well preserved. Okay, anyway, move. Oh, I'm just nerding out. Crystal Weapons, man. I just can't get Elder Scrolls out of my head. Anyway. Yeah, over 5,000 years old, estimated to be, dating back to at least 3,000 BC. As the Daily Grail writes, the Daily Grail, the Holy Grail, are they just telling us this? This is what it's all about. Okay. The Daily Grail writes, the Montilio Thelios excavated between 2007 and 2010 is a great megalithic construction which extends nearly 44 meters, 144 feet, constructed out of large slabs of slate. Okay, the side note there, I'll tell you why in a minute. Large slabs of slate, at least 25 individuals were found within the structure. Analysis suggests that there was one male and numerous females who had drunk a poisonous substance. The remains of a woman sit in a the remains of the woman sit in a circle in a chamber adjacent to the bones believed to be of the chief. Incredible crystal arrowheads too. Oh yeah, they mentioned arrowheads. They also found an extraordinary set of sumptuous grave goods, the most notable of which was an unspecified number of shrouds of cloths, tens of thousands of perforated beads and decorated with amber beads. In addition, the human remains textiles, archaeologists found a large hoard of crystal arrowheads. The fact that they were discovered together indicates that they could have been a ritual offering to an altar. The arrowheads have been distinctive long lateral appendages of flint arrowheads from the region, but archaeologists noted that even greater skill must have been required to produce these unique features using rock crystal, because it hits hard. I've seen a guy who used to do obsidian, used to make knives from obsidian, call it napping. You have to kind of chip away. You have to sort of you have to select a nice stone that's the right, roughly kind of even in its thickness. It's got to say, you basically need to try and find a center line on it, kind of chip it off along that center line each side, so it look like bite marks coming out each side of where the blade's going to be. So you have to just keep chipping it away. It's hard, but yeah, that's so. But yeah, it's tough stuff, man. It takes some work. I don't know about crystal. I can imagine it to break. I mean, I tried quartz crystal for a rope dart once, man. Bad idea. Don't ever do it. It just shatters. I thought it'd be a bit tougher, but no. But yeah, I don't know. A crystal rope dart, that'd be cool, though. But anyway, yeah, moving on. Arrowheads. Crystal arrowheads. I mean, I can get what they're saying. I've been finding that stuff together, and then... But then, I don't know. Finding it together, yeah, ritual. They will say it's always for, ceremonial purposes, But I don't know, because if it's ceremonial purposes, okay, I buy that. A load of arrowheads all at the same time. I buy that, but for the fact that they've got cores there ready to make more. Is that, well, do you make them on site then, at the ceremony place? Surely you make them and take them there, not making them on site. That gets me thinking, like, no, was they under attack? Were they under siege? I don't know. Just because if they didn't have them cores there, I perhaps wouldn't be speculating like this. But also, they took poison as well. So, is it some sacrificey thing? Is that what it is? Is it some sacrificey business, or is that? I don't know. Is it? Were they? Was it like the dragons are outside and we're all trapped in this cave, or maybe we should just take the poison? I don't know. But okay, corpses. So say a corpse of a young male was discovered in a second structure, also constructed from slate slabs and dubbed 10.04 to 10.049. Archaeologists discovered the corpse of a young individual estimated to have been between 17 and 25 years of age at the time of his death. The body was laying in a fetal position, encircled by a large set of valuable objects. These included an elephant tusk laid above the young man's head, a set of 23 flint blades, several ivory artifacts. As the Daily Grail mentioned, the rock crystal dagger blade appeared in the upper level of the structure, 10.049 of the PP4 Melatirio sector. In association with the ivory hilt and sheath, which renders it an exceptional object of late prehistoric Europe, the blade is 214 millimeters in length, a maximum of 59 millimeters in width, and 13 millimeters thick. Its morphology is not unheard of in the Iberian Peninsula, the Iberian Peninsula, okay, and all the samples recorded thus far were made from flint and not rock crystal. Crystal weapons belong to the few elite individuals. After examining the finds closely, archaeologists discovered that the weapons are most in the same shape as flint arrowheads and were pretty common in the region during that time. However, the fact that there were not any crystal mines in the area implies that the skillful builders of the crystal weapons were possibly travelled from many miles to find the materials that needed to construct the weapons and tools. The shortage of crystal also suggests that these weapons were destined... Oh, sorry about that. Little alarm there. So, it's suggesting that they either must have had to travel a long way to get them, or these might have been, earmarked for the aristocrats of the time. Experts report in the study. More technically sophisticated items, however, were deposited in large megalithic structures. As such, it is reasonable to assume that although the raw materials were relatively available throughout the community, only the kin groups, factions, and individuals who were buried with megaliths were able to afford and they could afford the added value that would be allowed for the production of sophisticated objects such as arrowheads and dagger blades. I don't buy that personally. Not at all. Not at all. I don't buy that. But I don't know. I'll tell you why. I'll have a quick break and I'll tell you why I don't really buy into that one. But yeah, just pop some music on. We're back in a sec. Exo Minds podcast, Liam Martin. Quick break. We'll catch you soon. Just a couple of minutes. Get a drink. Come back. famous Liam Martin, back in business. Get some light on the scene of it. Camera keeps fading out. Got the camera working, but doesn't really matter for the radio. Right then, okay then. Back on with the show. So today we're covering just a follow on, because I did a show on covering a quick overview on the 7 wonders of the world. I've got to a potential candidate, the 8th wonder of the world, with Nam Madal, Micronesia. Fascinating place. It's a man-made set of islands. Made of basalt crystal. Someone's floated them out there, built it themselves. A lot of mystique about the place. The basalt crystal though got me thinking about, crystals, and there's a lot of strange stuff. The hexagonal shaped crystals and like the Giant's Causeway, and it got me thinking about this crystal stuff, and crystal skulls on my mind. So I've looked up a few articles about crystals and found some pretty nifty stuff out there. So without any further ado, we'll get back. I'll get back on looking at some of these crystals then. So we just covered crystal weapons, which they're saying is probably ceremonial or for the elite, and they always do ceremonial stuff. But I'm not. Yeah, I get they're going to be expensive, but I don't know. Yeah, he said for this article, again, ancient origins, links in the description. But it concludes, in conclusion, the experts taking part in the study concerning rock crystal, confirm Valenciana's statues are exceptional location and high concentration of exotic raw materials or rare products coming in from all over Iberia. So it does kind of make sense. I was going to suggest that earlier, that there could be imports if they've not got crystal in the area. Doesn't necessarily mean people would run out and go and get some. But if they're imports, I'm kind of glad they said that, because Spain, there is. That's Spain. I like to look at this bigger picture stuff, as I've mentioned before. I like to kind of look at the whole timeline and consider where countries are and places. Oh, hi in the chat. Hey, how's it going? Shout out Maple Bob 23. I remember to check the chat, man. I'm getting better. Woo, yes. Check the chat. Anyway, yes. What I was going to say. Yes, Spain. These crystal weapons are in Spain, right? And whenever you see these magical game things and it's crystals, the lore seems to be about they're for fighting magical creatures, often like dragons, right? And Spain is a bit of a different kind of European country in terms of it's got such a heavy Middle Eastern influence. And I mean, I don't know if dragons are real, but they've been in every culture all through history, everywhere, all over the world, all through time. And most of that, when you read about that stuff, they're saying that they came from the Middle East. I don't know, I'm just putting pieces together. If crystal weapons are needed to kill magical creatures like dragons, and they're coming from the Middle East, and Spain's linked to them and trading with them, they probably have crystal weapons. You know what I'm saying? This is a long time. This is 5,000 years ago. But as nuts as that might sound, there was a global flood. They talk about Noah's flood, but then there's evidence that there was a real Noah's flood. And there's, Younger Dryas period, maybe 12, 14,000 years ago, maybe a massive global flood. But no, there's one a lot earlier too, more like 3, 4, a few thousand years ago. So maybe that was it. Maybe all that stuff was real, man. Maybe there were dragons. Maybe there were dragons, and we did have crystal weapons, and there was a flood, because heated seawater will fossilise things quick. So, just a thought there. We'll do a mud fossil show, I think, soon. Just to touch on that, so you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I can't get this lighting right. I'll just get a proper light one day. Anyway, oh my god, this world's crazy. I'm telling you, it's nuts. But anyway, let's get back on. So what else we got? Some more crazy crystal stuff. So yeah, ancient origins. I just found a bunch from there, but look, I reckon they were higher than that, or they were blacksmiths or something, or maybe they were. Oh my god! You used to get in these Elder Scrolls games, you get that soul trap spell, don't you? You can use your weapon to trap a soul in it, make it more powerful, and they do that with these as well. Where is it? Got me a. your crystal blade, look. For those on the camera, it's got like it's got a Garuda bird that's had a snake in its mouth. It's shaped like a snake. It's supposed to trap souls inside in between the metals. Right, so use different types of metals. So when you melt it together and make your blade, it has like kind of stripy colours, and you can make it into different weird patterns. And yeah, and you're supposed to do incantations, trap a soul in there, do the soul trap spell, just like Elder Scrolls. So it's like, maybe these people killed themselves in front of the crystal weapons to put themselves into them, so someone else later could use these crystal weapons knowing that the mate's in it. I don't know. Just a thought. I just thought of it just now. But anyway. Just spitballing. Anyway, another article. Ancient Origins again, man, they're on fire. Ancient Origins, man, they're doing it. The Viking Crystal Sunstone. That was another thing as well with the longitude and latitude. And I watched the Vikings TV show, and seeing where they had the Sunstone, where even when the idea was when it's cloudy, they could still, find out where the sun was, and still get a shadow, and they're still falling in their position. So I don't know. If anyone could do it, Ragnar Brock would do it. But let's read the article. This is from Stephen Harding. This is dated 30th of January 2016. Article begins. Ancient records tell us that intrepid Viking seafarers who discovered Iceland, Greenland, and eventually North America navigated using landmarks, birds, whales, and little else. There's little doubt that the Viking sailors would have used the positions of the stars at night and the sun during the daytime, and archaeologists have discovered what appears to be a kind of Viking navigational sundial. But without magnetic compass, like all ancient sailors, they would have struggled to find their way once the clouds came over. However, there are several reports of Nordic sagas and other sources of Celestine sunstone. Sources of a sunstone. Okay, so they've heard about a sunstone. The literature doesn't say what it was used for, but it has sparked decades of research examining if it might be a reference to a more intriguing form of navigational tool. The idea is that the Vikings may have used the interaction of the sunlight with particular types of crystals to create a navigational aid that may have even worked in overcast conditions. This would mean that the Vikings had discovered a basic principle of measuring polarized light centuries before they were explained scientifically today. Used to identify. Oh, okay. So we use polarized light to identify different chemistry, and scientists are now getting closer to establishing it in its form for a form of navigation have been possible, or whether it's just a thing in history. So they're trying to figure out if you could do it. But I think the idea is that you can look at the clouds. I suppose it's a bit like sunglasses, and it filters stuff out. So if you've got thin cloud cover and you hold certain rocks up to it that are translucent, it'll blend out the cloud cover and let you see where the sun is and let enough light come through so you can get a shadow off of it, so you can get a true position. Which it's not that crazy, is it? I can imagine it, like a filter. And there's loads of chemistry. There's tons of rocks out there and crystals and minerals. If you get one that's translucent, if you've got the right chemistry, it would just be like filter sunglasses, wouldn't it, I guess? So, going on. Scattering and polarization. Let's learn some science about light. To understand how this might have worked. How might it have worked? Soul Calibur. Oh my god, Matt. Matt said, I haven't played that game in ages. Oh, man, I used to be that samurai guy. Who was it? Mitsugawa, or whatever his name was. Mitsuragi. That guy. Oh, man, I knew all this sword stuff I did. And the nunchuck guy with the metal nunchuck thing. What's it? Comments. Soul Calibur. They show this in the show Vikings. Yeah, they do. Ragnar sells what yeah, that's right. And he has his little device, doesn't he? He has a little wooden disc with just a little stick sticking up off of it, and that's all he needs, isn't it? Literal sundial. Yeah, he holds the crystal up to the sky to find the sun. And use this. Yeah, that's where I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. Yeah, yeah, that scene exactly. That's what I'm imagining. Yeah, he's got the sundial, hasn't he? You just stick that in the water or in a bucket. Yeah, it puts it in a bucket, doesn't it? A bucket of water. So you've got it, so it can't fucking float away in the sea. Yeah, you look at it. Yeah, hold your thing up so you can get the shadow. I bet that'd work, you know. Matt, I bet it'd work. I bet I can find the right thing. In fact, ask Elf. I know a guy. I know a crystal guy. That's the Elf. Elf on a shelf. It can be very helpful. Sent me some crystals from America with shipping, cheaper than going to the one 20 minutes walk down the road. Amazing. It's a crazy world, man. These crystals are way cheaper. But anyway, rip off Britain. Just kidding. I would never declare that Britain is a complete rip off. Nope, never. Anyway, yeah, polarization. Yeah, I think that might be the thing. I think that we might be on something with that one. But anyway, oh god damn it, I forgot to do my timer. No. Okay, next article. More crystals. So we've got crystal weapons. We've got the what was that? We've got the sunstone. Yeah, the Viking sunstone. I thought I had another one here. That's the same one. And then we've got this as well. Look. What is it about jewels and rubies and all that stuff? What's all this then? So we've got this this article on the king of ancient gemstones. Ruby trumps diamonds. That's the thing. That's true. It seems to be true. We think of diamonds today, but rubies in old stories, and that rubies were always quite sought after, weren't they? And rubies, talking sci-fi stuff and weird stuff. Rubies. We've got rubies. Who's got rubies? Rubies. No. Ruby sunglasses. Cyclops in X-Men. Cyclops got rubies in it. What's with the rubies? Yeah? Didn't Ra, the Eye of Ra's red. The Eye of Ra's red. Like a ruby. In fact, that's in Stargate. We'd have to find the Eye of Ra on the thing and they had to shine a red beam on his thing to open it up. And yeah, red. Rubies. Anyway. Just quick. Someone's banging on the wall. I hope I'm not being noisy. No. No, speakers are off. Don't know what it's all about. Someone banging on the wall there. Maybe there's a spider. Or lots of them. Bang, bang, bang. Anywho. Yeah. Yes, article. 10th of October 2018. The king of ancient gemstones, ruby trumps diamonds. So why is rubies better, I wonder? So the article says. Western culture has relatively shallow relationship with gemstones. Not just gemstones, me darling. Western... Just a sec. Ha ha ha. Had to laugh with myself. Western culture has a relatively shallow relationship with gemstones. Most people place great value on diamonds as being symbolic of commitment, and only a few know this entire ritual began in 1947. De Beers advertising campaign which pushed the line, "A diamond is forever." To understand the 1947, just the ad campaign that pushes the line, diamonds are forever, and that's where we've got it from. Wow. To understand the inordinate importance of gemstones in history, one needs to turn from the blinding light of diamonds, because in reality, right up to the mid-20th century, rubies were a girl's best friend. Boom, I knew it. Not necessarily, but I knew diamonds is just... There's a racket, you know, in my view, which I'm entitled to, it's my show. There's a racket, because the diamond trade, man, it's a massive racket. It's August for Antwerp, isn't it? August for Antwerp, and it's a supply and demand thing. They have to hold them back and then release it, and then to keep the price up. I'm telling you, supply and demand. Anyway, yeah, there's massive asteroids made, there's whole moons made out of diamond, isn't there? You can make diamonds in labs. So I don't know, black diamond, make black diamonds. Anyway, Yes, rubies. So let's get onto the proper crystals then. Let's have a look. So rubies were a girl's best friend. You know, as a just description of an image of a bit of ruby here. It says two crystals of a lustrous and translucent cherry red ruby with exquisite micro details on the faces and sharp beveled edges. The large one exhibiting superb crystal form measuring 1.5 centimeters across. It just shows you, it's showing you a bit in its raw form on this image in this ancient origin article. But yeah, next paragraph says the magical superstitions of ruby. This is a bit I want to know. Yeah, collecting crystals. Yeah, I can imagine it gets expensive. But I wanted to do Reiki, Matt. I did. I wanted to do Reiki, and then I found out about you know, you can do crystal attunement and stone. You know, put the crystals on people and get singing bowls. And I was like, yeah, singing bowls and crystals. I'd love to do that. I'm probably really good at it. But a full set of singing bowls and crystals, bro. And imagine trying to get crystal singing bowls. Oh my god! Don't even look. Don't look, bro. Don't even look at the price. You won't recover. That would be cool, though. It would be cool. Get out lottery. We do some experiments, and Mike, we'll need to get the lottery on. Get a lottery thing done. I'm telling you, 50% troubled minds if you win. But then we can all have crystal bowls, can't we? Anyway, the magical superstitions of ruby. Ruby is one of the traditional cardinal gems, along with amethyst, sapphire, and emerald. There you go. Yeah, that's why they're the main ones, isn't it? That's the cardinal gems. Yeah, I've got some amethyst, by the way. I've read the emerald tab. No, I haven't read the emerald tablet, actually. No, I can't claim that. I ain't got a sapphire. No rubies. Got some amethyst, though. Wonder why that's gone down in price then, because I'm pretty sure sapphires and emeralds are still expensive. But anyway, yes, so they're the cardinal ones: the ruby, the amethyst, the sapphire, and the emerald. And diamond and the word ruby come from rubber, or Latin for red, whereas rubies are mined. They are light pink to blood red colour. It's saying that's okay. So the blood red colour in the gemstone is composed with the mineral aluminium oxide. Okay. Corundum is aluminium oxide. In 1913, the famous gem explorer George Frederick Kunz wrote The Curious Law of Precious Stones, and the subtitle underlines the ruby spectrum in history. Its topic included folklore, superstitions, symbology, mysticism, use of medicine, protection, prevention, religion, divination, crystal gazing, birthstones, lucky stones, talismans, astral, zodiological, and planetary. What? Whoa, this. Okay. Sounds pretty central to just about everything in life that counts. Speaking of magical healing. Just drop that in. Speaking of magical healing, properties of rubies, Kunz. Yeah, be careful how you say that, Kunz. Speaking of magical healing properties of rubies, Kunz said they were sovereign remedies for what is that? For illnesses of all kinds, as well as the for inflammatory diseases, and it's believed to exercise a calming influence and remove anger and discord. You've got to remove discord. You heard it here first, folks. Rubies are going to remove discord. So, yeah, okay. That makes certain inflammatory diseases. Well, do you think I can get a ruby on the NHS? I need a really big one for my whole body. I write to, who's the Prime Minister now? I don't know. Have we got one? I don't think we've got one. Maybe I should just apply and give myself a ruby like they do. Anyway, I should probably move on. Yeah, rubies. They were embodied in superstition and have long been associated with protecting financial assets. For example, in 1365 AD, Sir John Mandeville, the great explorer, wrote his book Travels, in which he said he had heard that once a man had touched the four corners of his land and is with his ruby, then his house, vineyard, and orchard will be protected from lightning, tempests, and poor harvest. So you've got to take a ruby to all the corners of your country, and you'll get some kind of fully comprehensive insurance from nature. Okay, is that how it works? You've got insurance brokers even in the astral. They're everywhere, aren't they? Everywhere. Have you got seventh dimensional solicitors? Oh, God. Whether or not one believes in these legendary properties of the gemstones, the science of colour psychology associates red with certain strong emotions. So that is, I suppose you've got the colours with it as well. But no, some of this magic's, well, magic's modulated by belief. The colours count with a colour magic for like for therapy, they're colour therapy. But the colours count in nature too for what chemicals are in there. For example, iron is going to make things go red. So anything red in it, it's probably got iron in it. And I think like phosphorus will be like blue. So blue flowers probably got a lot of phosphorus. I'm sure it works out like that, or a lot of potassium or something. But yeah, that's how these things were different. I've seen it in a Richard Allen Miller book. It was the magical use. It's a little book, little mini one. It was the magical use of ritualistic herbs or something. So yeah, the colours do count. And it's colours of frequency as well, aren't there? It's just a shift along the frequency band. So, Dark Devious, he joins us. Crystal singing bowls over Discord. I'd love that. I would. We'd have to. We could only afford one for the whole network because they're expensive. So we'd have to like keep just shipping it around everyone. We'll have to do a lottery to who gets it next for the month or something like that. Crystal, we should get Crystal singing bowls. Yeah, we've got some more comments. Oh, Maple Bob 23. Glad you could join us. I always think of the look that comes over Charles Boyer's face in Gaslight when I review the Crown Jewels. Is that that's enough him? Maybe. That's the thing. No, I don't know. That's something to think about. What if you put a crown on your head and you got these jewels in there, and the crystals can have memories? I don't know. Oh, maybe royal crowns instantly brainwash you with like all the evil kings that came before or whatever. Maybe. Dark Devious. This is Diamond. There's a diamond right there. Matsao, again, I wonder if the singing bowl will work over Discord. I think it would, you know. I think it would work. I think it really would, actually. Clear enough sound, technology these days, is getting the tone, and your intention of being there and on it and playing it and whatnot. I reckon that stuff work. You can remote heal people, can't you? In fact, you can make... I'm not saying you should do this, but you can make you can make voodoo dolls of somebody else and give them a massage, and they'll get the effect of it. I've seen it in the... They did it once. They did one experiment in that Dean Radin book, but they didn't want to go down the voodoo route, you know, because it's loaded. But yeah, they tried that once with a little voodoo doll and get it a massage. It works. So Dark Devious just got home from work, man, taking a shower. Yeah, get fresh. Hard day's work. Get them calluses softened up. Man's hands, innit? That's right. Anyway, moving on. Let's move off this. Let's get on to next couple of articles. How long have we been going? I think I've got to finish soon, actually. Hang on. Forgot to hit my timer and I finished and I started late because the computer just wasn't having it when I went to broadcast. Crashed. So rubies then. I don't know. I want to do jewels. Oh, I want some jewels now. I want a ruby on the NHS. Anyway, moving on. Next article. Ancient Origins again. Smashing it. Almost all them. The megalithic money of Yap. Oh, this is a weird one, actually. It's not quite... It's not exactly crystal. It is. This is just weird. Yeah, the megalithic money of Yap. The tiny island of Yap in the Western Pacific holds a strange attraction for economists because it cuts to the heart of the very question, what is money? For centuries, the Yap Islanders have used huge megalithic crystal discs as their money, shaped like gigantic wheels and carved from single blocks of calcite crystal. This quote-unquote stone money is called Rai. The largest yet discovered measures 12 feet in diameter. That's 3.6 meters, man. That's like, well, that's a long bit of wood, isn't it? 3.6 meters. It's 12 foot, yeah. Oh, yeah, it says 12 foot. Yeah, and weighs 4 tons. Okay, so you're going to pay with a... you're going to pay with a 12-foot coin that weighs 4 tons. It keep the change. Dude, come on. What the hell? What the... Dude, oh my god. Yeah, that's 12 foot's a big coin, man. There's the big coins everywhere. They've got big coins. All right, okay. Okay, so the 4-ton coins. The rice stone were not used just for any purchase. Day-to-day commerce was conducted with exchange of shells. Okay, that's fair enough. Necklaces and baskets of fruit and cups of syrup. The rye was specially reserved for things like a bride's dowry or exchange for one tribe came from the aid of another. Oh, okay, for war hardship. Okay, so it's like big payments then. Okay. Exactly how the relative value of each rice stone was calculated is still a mystery. We do not know that they were considered extremely valuable. A small rice stone was enough to buy some livestock, whereas a large stone would be enough to buy many villages' plantations. So yeah, how would you figure it out? Maybe just do it based on proportion and size, or maybe just do it. What about this? Here's a crazy idea. Maybe they all just have like we've all got a coin, like a favor. Maybe it's like an IOU. Like if you're really in trouble, use my rice stone. You know, like one free miracle. Yes, the Terence McKenna one free miracle is your rice stone. You know, just one get out of jail free card. Maybe that's how they valued it. Whatever you needed, that's what you need, innit? So maybe it was like that. More simple ways, perhaps. Anywho, I just thought I'd draw that one in because it's a bit of a weird one. You've probably seen it before. If not, I just thought it was an interesting one. Massive coins. So yeah, check it out. Links in the description. Yeah, the megalithic money of Yap. So that's in the Pacific. Okay, another article. The Sacred Emerald Buddha, a message of peace. Dude is made of emerald, one of the cardinal jewels that we just found on that previous article. So I'll quickly cover this then, and we'll have to get wrapping up on the show. Can you believe that though? Batman has a giant penny in his Batcave. Oh my god, yes, it does. He turns his car on it, doesn't it? Massive penny. Massive 1742 London penny. Big giant one. Turntable for his Batmobile. I've seen it, man. Good catch. I didn't think anyone had noticed. Anyway, yeah, Emerald Buddha. My god. That sounds badass, doesn't it? The religion of Buddhism has several sacred icons, but one of the most sacred is the famous Emerald Buddha housed in a temple named after it. The Emerald Buddha Temple houses the Emerald Buddha. Yeah, kind of makes sense. Clues in the name. It's an essential aspect of Buddhist culture and is known worldwide. Although its overall history is well documented, its origins remain speculative. Dun, dun, dun. In the early 2000s, the new Buddhist icon was born, titled the Sacred Emerald Buddha. The 2,620 carat emerald. What does it even mean, carats? I don't care. It's emerald. It's cool. It's a Buddha. That would do me. But if you're interested and know what the hell that means, it's 2,620 carats emerald sculpture. Was carved out of a rare emerald crystal sourced from Africa. Because of its rarity, The gem dealer who purchased the crystal decided to use it to create a symbol of peace. Now the icon is housed in Thailand, also home to the original Emerald Buddha, and is known for one of the world's largest known carved emeralds. The travelling Emerald Buddha has a long history. Historic Emerald Buddha is housed in a temple in the Emerald Buddha in Bangkok, in Thailand. The statue is estimated to be from the 15th century and is carved from semi-precious green stone. Although the title of the sculpture is the Emerald Buddha, it is actually made from jasper with gold elements. The statue is approximately 26 inches, that's 66 centimeters high, and sits in a meditative posture central to Indian Buddhist worship. Yeah, the classic kind of seated, not the lotus where you put your hands up, but just seated. Yeah, one hand on top of the other, palms facing up. He's got his robe over him. Where he's got one shoulder exposed. That's all like gold, and he's got his like his pine cone hat thing, and then a big spike coming out the top, which I would surmise that's your shooting up your channel. You're doing your kundalini and blasting out the top of your head. That spike is. And that's what a crown is, by the way. I mentioned that because I'm in England and there's a coronation coming up soon. Your crown for a king or queen is supposed to represent your crown chakra opening up. And, you're now wise and enlightened. How true that is for kings and queens these days is, I suppose, debatable. But, yeah, that's what a crown's supposed to be when you're enlightened. So that was, yeah. Emerald Buddha. Emerald Buddha. Yeah. Check it out. Check it out in the crown chakra stuff and Buddhism. Yeah, I'm interested in this stuff. Bring peace to the world. It sounds good to me. And especially if you buy a massive emerald and you're going to do something with it and it costs you loads. Why not make a Buddha statue, right? As Barry Norman used to say on film review back in the day, and why not? Anywho, folks, I've got to get going. I'm a bit late on computer crashed earlier, so I've got my timings off. But I've got to wrap up the show now. Try and keep it roughly tight to a radio clock, and then hopefully I should be able to keep it tighter again next week. Had a few technical problems this week, and my hands have been absolutely crippled, but they're getting better. Keep putting cream on them, so get in there. Keep getting lots of love from people. The more followers I get, the more healthy I get. Not to guilt trip you. Anywho, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to those in the chat. Maple Bob 23, great to see you. Matt Sal, always a pleasure. We'll catch you soon. We need to talk about magic. Yeah, literally, because we're doing the show. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We're back again tomorrow. It'll be at 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Be on schedule this time. I'm gonna clear up my computer a bit, get some memory freed up. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Links in the description. Remember to check out KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And yes, let's play some outro music of some sort. I don't know. Should play this? What should we? Oh, I haven't done for a while. Oh, let's play this piano-y one. Okay, that's enough from me. Famous Liam Martin, Exile Minds podcast. On this, oh, it's just turned Friday now. That was the Thursday episode. We did a Friday one as well. Make up for it. I had to skip one this week. Anyway, you take care of yourself, folks. Bye bye, Maple Bob. Hope you can catch us again soon. Exile Minds podcast. Back again tomorrow. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. British summertime, UK. Take care, folks. Look after yourselves. Try and stay out of trouble.